You've seen some of the reporting by some internet websites who basically sort of allege that he might have them or be involved. Can you dispel some of those rumors or some of the statements we've seen on the reliable worldwide web?
Sure. I haven't seen anything to suggest that Cameron Joshua had anything to do with that he discharged a firearm that caused his death or was even involved in it. My understanding is there was some type of skirmish. From what I've seen from the internet, and I'm familiar with all the Instagram sleuths, they remind me of the blind guy who tries to figure out an elephant and grabs his trunk and thinks it's a snake. The bottom line is they're wrong. Cameron Joshua did not shoot Takeoff.
Welcome back to another video with IDN TV channel. Now, catching everybody up to speed about this Takeoff and Lil Cam situation. So like I told y'all Saturday, the man Lil Cam that everybody's accusing for Takeoff's murder, he has been arrested, but the internet bloggers are accusing that he was the one that actually shot Takeoff. Now locally, the police have revealed more information on why Lil Cam was arrested. Now the police arrested Cameron Joshua, who was only 22 years old. Now they say he was at the location where Takeoff was shot at that downtown Houston bowling alley. Now they're saying that Lil Cam is somehow connected to this case. Now yesterday during the court hearing, the prosecutors are saying that Lil Cam is not to be believed the person that fired the weapon during the Takeoff shooting. But instead they are saying that he's being charged with unlawfully carrying a weapon as a felon, in which it was a handgun. Now the report is saying that the same time he's being charged for this incident is the same time that Takeoff was killed, around 2:30 a.m. November 1st, 2022. Now the prosecutors, who are pretty much trying to convict Lil Cam, now they say they believe Cameron Joshua, also known as Lil Cam, has been appropriately charged for this case. They are continuing their investigation in the passing of Takeoff. Now they're saying that he was there, but he did not shoot Takeoff, or at least they're not saying it as of yet. Now Cam's lawyer says that Lil Cam was there shooting dice. He said that the bottom line is that Cameron Joshua did not shoot Takeoff. They were saying he was there, but he did not shoot Takeoff.
So my name is Matt, M-A-T-T, Gilliam, G-I-L-L-I-A-M. I'm a prosecutor at the Harris County DA's office. So just our statement is we believe Cameron Joshua has been appropriately charged in this case, and we're continuing our investigation into the death of Takeoff. Thank you all.
Good. Can you spell your first and last name and tell us who
Sure,
you
it's
are, please?
Christopher Downey, D-O-W-N-E-Y. I'm representing Cameron Joshua.
Can you tell us what happened in court today?
Sure. Cameron Joshua has been charged with 2 counts of carrying a weapon, and it has only tangential relationship to this shooting involving Takeoff. He's not being charged with the shooting. I think the DA's office knows the difference between carrying a weapon and a shooting case, and if they thought he was involved in the shooting, they would have charged him.
So is this where, like, I guess there's social media video, like what we've all seen, where he's in the video carrying a gun? Is that where you think all this stems from? Or?
That's my understanding. According to the affidavit that's been filed in the first carrying a weapon case, it's based on the shooting. Let me say, it's based on the circumstances surrounding the shooting, in that he's alleged to have had a gun there at the scene when the shooting happened.
And is that a witness saw him with a gun rather than him having used it?
Right, that's my understanding as well, that it's based on a witness's observation that he had a firearm.
And then the witness apparently said they saw him re-racking the weapon.
That's the rumor. I haven't seen anything to support that.
Hey, tell us what happened here legally, as far as you guys just reset the case because he was out on bond or probation on other cases?
Yes, so Mr. Joshua was on bond for an unrelated matter, possessing a fake ID, and the case was reset to determine conditions of bond, whether he'll be held at no bond because he's alleged to have committed an offense while on bond, or whether he'll be given a reasonable bond.
And what's his connection to Takeoff? Why was he at that event that evening?
Again, that's stuff we're all looking into, the relationship between all the parties. My understanding, it was some type of social event. I think some folks were playing dice. Beyond that, I have not known.
Was he playing dice?
Again, we're looking into that to determine what his actions were that evening.
You've seen some of the reporting by some internet websites who basically sort of allege that he might have shot him or be involved in the murder. Can you dispel some of those rumors or some of the statements we've seen on the reliable worldwide web?
Sure. I haven't seen anything to suggest that Cameron Joshua had anything to do with the shooting, that he discharged a firearm that caused his death or was even involved in it. My understanding is there was some type of skirmish. From what I've seen from the internet, and I'm familiar with all the Instagram sleuths, they remind me of the blind guy who tries to figure out an elephant and grabs his trunk and thinks it's a snake. The bottom line is they're wrong. Cameron Joshua did not shoot Takeoff.
Have you talked to him? What's his demeanor?
You know, I've talked to him. He wants a bond. He wants to get out. He wants to clear his name.
Does Cameron Joshua know who shot Takeoff?
We will discuss that with the DA's office if we decide to. Right now, we're charged with offenses and we're not saying anything.
What do you mean if you decide to?
Well, everybody has the opportunity to discuss those matters if they choose to.
Does the gun he was carrying match anything at the scene? Have the police told you anything about ballistics?
I'm not familiar with anything associated with the ballistics. That hasn't been made available to me.
When's the next court date?
We have a bond hearing next week.
Anything else?
Nothing further.
Can we spell your last name again?
Down at DOWNY.
Now, on top of Lil Cam being arrested for having a weapon during Takeoff's shooting, when he was arrested, they tapped on an additional charge because when he was arrested, he had a weapon on him as well. So now he's facing 2 unlawful possessions of a firearm by a felon. Now, a little history on Lil Cam. Back in 2021, he was arrested for having a fake ID with the burglary of a vehicle. Last October of 2021, he was convicted of grand theft in Los Angeles. But they're saying that this shooting that happened November 1st with Takeoff, the authorities have interviewed over 40 people that were there when Takeoff died. So here's my thing. Now, it looks like Lil Cam is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Now, he may have not even shot Takeoff like the internet is saying, but the police are trying to make sure they find out actually who did it. And I feel like they're using Lil Cam as a pawn. So if Lil Cam keeps it mob ties and keeps his lips closed, they may not have a lot for this case, unless they charge him with new additional charges saying that he shot Takeoff. And I think that'll change the narrative, and I think that'll change how he thinks about this particular case. I'm speaking about Lil Cam, because all he can say is, I was there, I had a weapon, and that's it. But when the prosecutors or the authorities come out and say, hey, you're being charged with the murder, if you don't help us out, then it is what it is. It seems like they're fishing and seeing if Lil Cam will talk by just getting him for that weapon, and now they're trying to keep him without bond. Got to remember, this guy's only 22 years old. The brain just fully developed, so it's a lot of things he needs to learn about the judicial system and things like that. So we will see. As of now, Lil Cam is arrested without bond. His bond hearing will be next week. Now, Takeoff's younger brother, Wafin Lingo, spoke out about his brother's passing. Now, this is nearly a month after the incident happened. The 25-year-old shared an emotional open letter to Takeoff on IG. Now, he said this. Dear Take, I don't know where to begin. I honestly still can't believe it. My big brother, my right hand, my other half, my literal twin. The one I could call upon anytime, no matter the time, weather, situation you were in. You always made sure that the family was straight. Even when I didn't need anything, you always gave me something. When we were kids, one day I was playing the game, and you came in the room and sat down next to me. You told me, when I make it rapping, you can ask me for anything, I mean anything. Me as your little brother, I looked up to you and asked anything. He said anything, all the shoes, clothes, and most importantly, games. I laughed and gave him a hug. I hate that I have to move on with my life without you physically here. I wish I could just stop the time and wait, but I know that can't happen. It's a lot of things that I'm going to miss about you. I can name them, but it will be a full list and it will take forever. I looked up to you more than anyone on this earth, and I will never stop looking up to you. I'll carry your name until the day I die. You taught me things and brought me places that majority of the people can never say that they seen or heard. Level-headed, nothing ever got to you unless it had to do with family or money. You always stayed in your lane and never bothered anyone. Quiet but very well spoken and a real humble giant. I know God had to meet one of his purest angels because you was one of them. I'm still trying to understand this life thing. Just help me and guide me through this hell on earth, because it's going to be hard, super hard without you, bro. One thing I'm going to miss is you calling me and asking me to roll one up and watch a movie. You always would rewind it every time I got distracted and tell me to pay attention, very precise on details. I have to live by your book now. think before I speak, love the family before anyone and anything, and most importantly, put my faith in God. I will see you again one day in heaven, brother, along with my great grandma. I'll take care of mama in heaven down here. Take you fulfilled your purpose and more. You will forever remain in my heart, our hearts. Love you, big brother, always and forever. Love, Lingo. Cardi B also gave an update on Offset, who was pretty much Takeoff's right-hand man. Now, Cardi B says that Offset is still dealing with an overwhelming amount of grief. She says she feels hopeless trying to make Offset happy. Cardi says that for the past month, she's been trying to make Offset crack a smile, but majority of the time, she's seeing him randomly cry or try to distract his mind completely. Now, as of now, the police haven't named anyone or any purchase of interest who actually killed Takeoff, but I'm sure the big news is coming before 2022 gets up out of here.